What's up guys, my name's AJ and today I'd like to introduce to you an underrated gem of a game called SpyParty. SpyParty is an early access stealth 1v1 game developed by Chris Hecker, also known as Checker, which is available on Steam or SpyParty.com for $25 US. SpyParty is a game with a low skill floor, but one of the highest skill ceilings in the game that I've ever seen. Many of the top players say that's what attracted them to the game was the high skill ceiling and the ability to just progress better and better than everybody else. When you arrive in a match of SpyParty, you get to choose between if you want to be the spy or the sniper. The spy controls one of the members of the party and has to try to sneak by and do their missions without being caught by the sniper, who is the second player, who controls a person on the outside of the party looking in, trying to stop the spy from completing their missions and shooting them before they eventually win. This sounds simple, but if you watch a professional match, you'll learn there's lots of small strategies that can give the spy or the sniper any number of edges over the opponents. For example, if you trigger the next person to go and swap the statue, you can try to contact the double agent to distract the sniper's point of view so that they won't be looking for when they swap the statue. This is one of the many ways that the game can be mastered by those at the highest level, but how is it for the beginners? SpyParty is a fun game for casual play. Those interested in buying the game are highly encouraged to do so with a friend. I was introduced to the game by my good bud Liam, and after some convincing, I bought it and we started playing together. Now, the game is a good tutorial so you can learn the basics, narrated by the developer, with closed captioning available for those who want it. And after the tutorial, you can find a game by joining the lobby and inviting somebody in the lobby. This can be tricky for new players who are solo, because some people may not want to play with them if they're new, or they might not have the guts to invite someone who's a lot better than them, or they may not want to. But this is being worked on with the current matchmaking system, which is one of the current top priorities by the developer team, and this is going to make it easier for new players to be able to find a match against people of their skill level. Now, once you find an opponent, you can choose between one of 13 available venues. Each have different sizes and shapes and feels. Like Balcony, for example, has 7 guests, the smallest in the game, with only 2 minutes to complete your missions. Meanwhile, Veranda has all 21 guests enabled with about 4 minutes and I think 15 seconds to complete all your missions. There are 3 venues called Tayan, Aquarium, and Redwoods, which all have stuff that can block the sniper's point of view. Like a venue called Aquarium has sharks that get in the way of the sniper's point of view, so they can't see the spy behind the sharks. However, venues like Redwoods have trees in the way, so it's hard for the sniper to see past. Once you have an opponent, there's no limit to the amount of games you can play. Last year, T-Flame played 24 hours of Balcony straight to commemorate his birthday. I joined for a little bit and got my butt kicked, just like what happened in the 2021 Winter Cup, where I played off against him. The Winter Cup is one of the SpyParty's many year-round events and competitions that can take place any time of the year, such as the SCL, one of the most popular ones, the crew battles, the Hidden Cup, the Summer and Winter Cups, as well as many other community-made, fan-made events that you can do at any time, such as currently T-Flame's Twin League is currently taking place and I'm enrolled in that one. The Discord server allows you to join that and discuss with other people and find and keep up to date on all of these competitions that are going on. Now, I'm sure by this point in the video you're tired of hearing my voice, so I thought why not get some other voices to help make my points for me. Which is why I decided to ask a couple people what they thought, and the first player I talked to was OpiWrites.
Of course.
Question number 1 is, when did you start playing SpyParty?
Almost 3 years ago now. It was the summer. I remember this specifically. It was the summer of my the summer going into my high school senior year, and the that at that time I had just I remember this very vividly because there was I got the game and I got into it, but I never really got to play it for the first 2 weeks I owned it because I was on a vacation to to visit my family in France or England, or one of the two. They live in either one sometimes. And so I just spent the entire time watching SCL VODs and things like that and participating in the Discord, but I didn't get to play actually play any more than one match for so long.
I feel you on the watching a lot of VODs thing. That's how I got started. Is I watched a bunch of my friend. First of all, my friend showed it to me to start with,
And the end of red.
and then I watched a bunch of VODs, and then he's like, "You should get the game," and so we got the game. He played that, and he doesn't play it anymore, but it was fun playing with him.
Yeah. It's definitely probably better to get in with a friend. Although I didn't. I just kind of got in by myself, no one else. I did at some point try to get one of my other friends into it, but at that point I already had like 4,000 games, and
Yeah.
it was
It's not fun.
concerning.
What was the main like selling point of the game to you?
Well, I mean, when I saw like the description on the Steam page, because that is where I found it. That's why my account is the Steam account. When I saw the description, I just like I was like, oh my god, this looks really cool, and and I went through some of the reviews, and as always, Steam reviews are a little bit mixed with Spy Party
Oh
because a
yeah.
lot of people don't really get into it,
I read a good one
and a
once
lot
about
of
the dev being on crack for the selling point.
yeah. So a lot of people will play it as like a party game, right? And it works as a party game. It works as like a thing where you throw on with your friend and you play kind of like a 3D Guess Who. It works as that, but if you play it like that, it's expensive, right? It's an
Yeah.
expensive game if that's all you play it as. Which is I suspect where a lot of like the complaints come from, because they're like, I paid $25 for this like mini game, right? Like sure, it works like that, but it's just too expensive if you're like that. So that's the main issue with like Steam reviews. But I also saw the other Steam reviews from like current community members, who were like, look, this game, you're gonna get bopped, but it's really deep and really really interesting, and that caught my attention because I love games like that. And the thing is with some of those games, also, is I usually have a really tough time getting into them, and I think that actually it was a little bit of a blessing that I was stuck away from playing the game for a bunch of time, instead was like just watching VODs and stuff, because I got to learn a bunch about the game and understand like the kind of things people see, uh, before I got too frustrated with losing a bunch. And I did lose a bunch
In the
anyways,
end of
right?
red.
But it was a fun sort of frustration, fun type of that. One more thing that really I think sold me on the game's depth. When I first was starting to play, I was playing. I very vividly remember this. I was playing a set of high rise 4 of 8 against Arturiax, who is a silver player in SCL4. Doesn't really play anymore. Isn't really that active. I mean, I've seen him around a couple times, but at the time, he completely was like way outstripping my abilities. Right? He's obviously in the competitive league where I was like on my second set of Spy Party ever. Um, and like at some point he shot me for ignoring Toby, and that was like a mind-blowing experience, kind of, in a sense. I was like, oh my god, really? You just what? That's insane. And I basically was sold from there.
So past like installing the game, what's been the thing that's like kept you coming back like day after day to play the game? Because
Uh,
you got a lot of games played.
yeah, easily the community. The community is like the biggest thing that I mean, it's a great game and I love it, but I don't know if I'd still be playing it, as my main hobby, besides all these years later, if it weren't for the incredible community, right? And I think
In the
that
end of
that's
red.
one of the biggest things that this game can offer.
I also talked with WarningTrack, or the runner-up in SCL this season, and asked him a few of the same questions.
I started playing Spy Party about 8 years ago, in February of 2013, when it was still in closed beta. I was on the waiting list for months, and I finally got an invite. And I know the exact date, because I keep track of most of my financial transactions, so I still have the entry for it. And in the notes field for that entry, I just wrote yes in all caps. What I like about Spy Party has changed a bit over the years. I liked it initially because I really like high concept things, be they books or movies or video games, and I like how untapped this game's area feels, how many possible iterations and mechanics could be folded into the game's concept over time. That's what got me interested at first, but what's kept me interested beyond the depth is the people, because some really smart, thoughtful people play this game. The kinds of people that love to dive deeply into little things and try to unpack them and turn them over in their minds and make sense of them. This game lends itself to that, and it attracts people who are interested in it and who are good at it, and those people, in turn, keep attracting me to it.
Alright, I'd like to say a huge thanks to those who helped me with this video. It took a while to make. I think the first draft of the script was like November something. Yeah, November something. And the game is available on SpyParty.com or on Steam under the name SpyParty for $25 US. Would recommend you purchase it. And yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.